So
Yeah.
how long did you live as a trans woman, right?
I'd say for about 8 years.
8 years. And this this
Yeah,
this
I
is
took the hormones for longer, but like from when I had my name legally changed and wore ladies' clothes, and if I went to a coffee place, but yeah,
eight
about eight
years.
years,
So how
eight,
so
maybe 9 years, something like
so
that. A
were
while, yeah.
you like confidently like you didn't did you ever was it always a questioning in the back of your mind whether or not you had made the right decision, or was there a
Yeah,
period of time where
because
you were like, no, I'm certain I'm a trans
I
woman?
think in the very beginning, but like once I did it and I started living, I was like, why am I doing this? Like everything was very contrived. Like if I did go to like I hated going to coffee places or takeout restaurants where they would be like, well, what's your name for the order? And I'd just be like, oh, Brianna, like, but
You felt
I
fake even to
yeah, it
yourself.
felt fake, and I felt like really when I really didn't like going to the gym because I knew that it was not appropriate for me to go into the ladies' locker room, and I'll feel bad about that till the day I die. So yeah, I just and then once and finally too. Once I graduated college, I had my mom would send me to rehabs, and like the first rehabs I would go to, I just met new people to do drugs with, and I eventually got into opiates. Like I started doing goofballs, which is where you mix crystal meth and heroin, and I would do that. I would take Xanax, but anyway, so in 2018, in a few weeks, I'll have 4 years of total. I haven't done any drugs. I
Oh yeah.
haven't had a sip of beer, wine, any of that.
Congratulations.
I thank you. I go to
Hell
Alcoholics
yeah.
Anonymous. I have a sponsor, the whole thing. But anyway, once I sobered up from drugs and alcohol, I that was when I realized I was like, dude, why, like what? But I was just. It took me like another 3.5 years or so
Yeah,
to
wow.
be where it just because I was just kind of embarrassed, like I had done all this stuff, and I just didn't want to have to go around and be like, I fucked up. I really, because I never, the thought of cutting, having the vaginoplasty, like, is just, I find it disturbing. Like, I known a
Yeah.
few people that did it.
Unsurprisingly, yeah,
Right. And
one would find that disturbing.
I don't even, like, like, I don't even want to look at a vagina. Like, if, Kylie Jenner and Haley Bieber were naked right there, I would, just give them a towel and be like, go in the bathroom, you know?
That's fair.
So
Spoken
I
like a
don't
true
want
gay
to,
man. Yes.
right. So like
Well,
the thought of having one, and also too, like the couple people I knew that did do it, they have horrible, like it's not like,
oh,
I
all
don't
the
think they're
complications and
right.
stuff.
They've
Oh
had to
yeah, I
have
hear about that.
multiple revision surgeries, and it's not like they have like this, so even if it did work, I wouldn't do it.
Right.
So I never wanted to have a boob job or any of that stuff.
Yeah, but so for 8 years essentially. So you lived as a trans woman for 8 years,
Yeah,
and the whole time there was a part of you that felt this was not.
absolutely, absolutely. I
See,
mean,
that's so. It's funny. It reminds me of people who are in a bad relationship and then like will keep taking the next steps all the way to like getting married, and it's like and I've seen it of like, that somewhere in the back of your mind this is the wrong decision, and like I remember I met someone who was uh dating his, or they were engaged to his fiance, and like the
mhm,
first time I met them together, they were like taking pot shots at each other, and I told my friend, I'm like,
uh,
these two are gonna get divorced for sure.
sure, yeah.
And I saw that like a year in advance, and then they moved in together, and like a couple months later they called off the wedding. It was like, how it's some things, it's like how,
Well, good thing they called off the
well,
wedding.
right, exactly, yeah, exactly, but it's like people can be in so much denial and for so long, and that's just,
Yeah.
it's very interesting.
Yeah, I mean, literally. When Trump got elected, I was like kind of like glad. Like I was on. I mean, I started listening to. I mean, say what you will about Joe Rogan. I'm not his biggest fan, but some of the guests he had on around the Trump election, like really is where I started to think, all that sociology stuff is bullshit. Like
Sure.
I heard Jordan Peterson, and not that I necessarily agree with these two on everything, but I specifically remember him having Milo Yiannopoulos, which I don't like him anymore, and he had Gavin McInnes on.
Miles always, yeah,
I think Gavin is okay though. I mean, I don't the Proud
sure.
Boys thing is stupid, but like if you listen to him talk, like I don't know. But like, so yeah, I would listen to, a lot of this stuff. And I don't like I mean, I know a lot of women, but I don't want to hear them talk about their tampons and pure. I just don't. And their girl problems. Like
Right.
I mean, I really, when I was trans, I don't think it made any sense. Like people I knew, they were like, oh yeah, it was just weird. And some of these
Were
people are kind of woke. So
were people was everyone around you like supportive at least in the
yeah, my parents never disowned me or anything. My parents continued to help me
it's a
and
good
help me.
low
And
bar,
once
but
I
yeah.
once I got sober too, like my life, I got a really good job, like a normal job, and I just be like, I wasn't a good, instead of like, really doing the AA thing, I just became like addicted to, like I was addicted to shopping for a while, and I really cared, like I really cared about wearing like designer labels. Like I still kind of do, but not as much anymore. Like I just, like I don't really care as much, and like I really care about like, oh, like what kind of car I drive, or like what my zip code is, and I don't really care as much about that kind of stuff anymore. So I
Sure.
became more obsessed with that kind of thing. So, but now that I've come out of the trans thing, I don't, not that that stuff doesn't mean anything to me anymore, because it does, but
You don't obsess about it as much.
yeah, I don't obsess about it. And I was just trying to, like, I think what it was because I knew I wasn't like a female. So I had to like compensate by like having a nicer bag than these chicks, or like having a better blazer, or
Sure.
like a better pair of shoes.
Sure. The markers
And
of being a
yeah,
woman.
yeah, I really think that that's what it was.